Hi everyone, welcome to a lovely sunny Sunday here at Let's Do Bonsai. Let's go inside and do the final kit, which is the Urban Sprout kit with the Scotch pines. Okay, so here we are inside with the Growing Made Simple Urban Sprout Bonsai Tree Kit Seed Starter Pack. Now I have what we put in for germination in front of me, and we've got a lot of growth. These have all germinated, and then these two sets we have nothing. We could probably guess what's in each pack, but what we're expecting is some red maple, some Scots pines, some Norway spruce, some larch and some dawn redwood. So this one at the back is the larch, so the larch has germinated. This one here is the Scots pine, that's germinated. We have a lot of Scots pine in there, which is fantastic. I've really looked forward to getting some of these Scots pines. And then this one here is the Norway spruce. So we have the Norway spruce, the Scots pines, and the larch that was sprouted. So yet to come up is the red maple and the dawn redwood. This one is the red maple. The soil is damp in there. Everything's okay. We'll just leave that open to breathe. And this one here, yeah, we can just see the seeds underneath the soil there. Could do with a spray of water, which we'll give it. But these will have to go in for stratification, which we'll leave them in for a few weeks until spring arrives, and then we'll bring them out for the nice spring weather. So we'll give these a bit of water, put them to one side ready for stratification, and then we'll get on with potting on the ones that have germinated. So we've got a little bit of water here, and we'll just put a little bit of extra water into the, I think it was the dawn redwood. Yep, a little bit of extra water into the dawn redwood. We'll put them to one side, let them breathe, and we'll get them into stratification. So first of all here we have the larch, so we'll get some pots ready for that and get them potted on. So in here I can see that we've got two germinated spruce. So what I'm going to do is just prepare two standard pots with some of the filtered out bonsai mix. So this is the finer particles that are normally sieved out, but for the purposes of growing the seeds on, I'm quite happy to use this to keep them growing. So we'll just fill up the pots. We will lose some out at the bottom. See there, it's flowing through. No, okay. Now with it being finer, we're going to have to fill in these holes down the bottom. So first of all, I'm just going to try and use one of the rectangular drainage screens and just drop that into the bottom and just see whether that will stop the soil draining through. And no, it doesn't really. We can see that the soil shakes through, so I'm going to go and get some proper screen, and we'll get cutting some screen up and use that. So in the way of a screen, we actually bought a door screen a good while back, and as a door screen it didn't function very well at all. So we wrapped it back up, put it back in, and we were going to send it back or take it back, but it literally only cost a few pounds. So what we decided was I could use it when I need it for some screening. So it comes and it's some nice fine mesh, so it should do the job for this really well. So we've got some lacy frilly bits here. We'll go with them first, seeing as they're the easiest bits to go with. And I will just cut a piece out to go in, and we'll fill it up with some soil. And it's not really passing through. The very, very fine particles are passing through. And I'll just take another piece. Ideally we would try and get this the right sort of size. So we can do that by cutting it to the shape of the pot. Good enough. And we'll just drop that into the bottom. And we'll drop some soil in. And that's gone in lovely. So we'll just top these up. And we'll get the Norway spruce seedlings. We'll try and get these out of the baggie without damaging them. Work them out of the pot. And what I'm going to do is just maybe break the pot away slightly and utilise some of the soil for potting on. All we need to do is separate the two seedlings. They have become intertwined, but there we go, they're separated, so that's fantastic. So we've got the chopstick to create a bit of hole in, but I've also got a dibber that can create a bit of hole. The only issue is this soil is so fine, as soon as you create a hole it's dropping in. So we will take out a good portion of the soil and then position in our first spruce at a height that suits us. And then the other side of the dibber is a very handy little shovel, and we can just shovel in the soil around our little seedling. So where there's a will, there's a way. We got there eventually. We'll plant it nice and deep because all the leggy seedlings have been toppling over and not doing very well, and at least all the roots will be nice and deep inside this pot, and as long as we get plenty of water through it, we've got plenty for it to go at. So that's the first one. Lose a bit more the soil out of this, and we'll repeat the process with our next Norway spruce. Now I'm hoping these survive because they've been doing really well upstairs. Obviously it's going to be a bit of a change from them. They're coming out of that nice humid environment that they've been in that bag. So as long as we get plenty of humidity around them, we should be okay. And obviously we'll cluster them all together as well, so they can all be in the same environment. And so that's the two Norway spruce. We will just get a label for those just so that we know what we were dealing with again. Take a Sharpie. So it's Norway spruce from the urban sprout. I'll just write that again for the next one. That's good. The Norway spruce from the urban sprout kit, and obviously Norway spruce from the urban sprout kit. And we'll just put them to one side, and we're going to water every single one of them together when they're ready to go in the kit. I don't want to make too much of a wetness around what we're working on. But our next one is going to be our larch trees. They were the larch trees. Why have I been calling them Norway spruce? Okay, so the next ones we're actually going to work on are actually the Norway spruce. For some reason, I got it into my head that these were the Norway spruce, and it was just where I'd read sprout and read it as spruce. The first two were larch seedlings, so I'll change the label on those accordingly. And these are going to be the Norway spruce from the urban sprout. Now in here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we're going to have to get it out of the bag to be able to count these. We have a lot. There we are. So in there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and one that collapsed. I don't think they'll all carry on, but what we'll do is we'll get a number of pots ready and come back and start potting them up. So that's some of the preliminary work made up just to get the screens into the bottom of these pots and get a bottom layer of soil in. I've refilled the pot of soil for us to work with. Now we're going to break up the Norway spruce So don't get confused, we've not got two lots of Norway spruce. I just was stupid and called the larch the Norway spruce. So apologies, confusions again on my part, but let's break this apart. Again, we'll try and carry across soil if we can, because we don't want to disturb the roots too much, but we'll just tease them apart and we'll plant them as deep as the seedlings will allow us. Some of these have actually bitten into the compost pot, so we might be carrying some compost pots across with some of them. So if we just try and get one at a time. So this is the first one, tiny little one, still coming out of its seed on the leaves. So we'll just bring it over to the soil and we'll start filling it up. It's a nice little shovel this, it works a lot better than the bigger one that I have been using. But we'll fill this up to the rim so that hopefully the seedling stands and we keep the stem deep in the soil. And that is number one of the Norway spruce. So we'll just put that to one side. We're going to have to create some labels for these. So here's our next pot. So I'll get these potted up and I'll be back with you when all 10 are done. So we have one seedling left out of those 10, and I don't think we're going to bother with that one because it's browned off a little bit and seems to be pretty dead. So we'll save our efforts with that one. So we have 9 of the Norway spruce. I'm just going to relabel the larch. so we know what they are. And I'll just make some labels up for the Norway spruces and we'll get them labelled. So that's all the Norway spruce potted up and labelled up and ready for a water and to go back on the shelf. Now for the one that I've been waiting for, the Scots pine. So we now have Scots pines. So we'll just fish this out of its bag. It doesn't want to come out, but it's coming. There we go. And in here we have a number of Scots pines. 1, 2, 3, 4. One that's died off. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a couple of dead stems. So I think we've got these just in time. So we'll get 6 pots ready and then we'll start filling them up. So we have 6 pots ready and there should be 6 Scots pines in this pot. We'll just break this pot apart and be careful to try and bring out the seedlings. There's one there that's coming out with the pot. Oh, they're all jumping all over the place. So we'll have to be careful. So there's a couple here to get some nice soil with. So that one's come out with a lump of soil, so we'll just get that dropped in. And start putting our soil around it. These are the ones that I'm really desperate to grow through. I really don't mind what happens to a lot of the others, but because they carry my name, I'd really like the Scots pines to make it through and survive. Just try and get them potted up as quickly as possible. Potting them nice and deep again. And then they'll go on the top shelf where they were, right next to the light, and hopefully continue to thrive. So that's 2 of the 6. Third one, very much tied into the compost pot, but that's okay. We'll throw that into the soil mixture. That one's nice and low in the pot. We won't have to take the soil up to the top, otherwise we'll have a little bit too much around it. So that's another one. Number 4, only 3 to go. That's ready. We'll just drop that until it hits the soil. So again, these are the Scots pines from the Urban Sprout kit, planting on. Looking very nice. I bet they're looking forward to a nice water. this mixture will have started to dry out their roots. So here we go with number 5. Quickly get the soil mixture in and around. And the last one, and that's number 6. So we'll get some labels made up, we'll get this tidied away, we'll get everything back on, and we'll give them a water. So there we go, that's all these seedlings potted on into their own individual pots. The larches seem to be the most vigorous and strong. The Scots pine seems pretty okay, but now I've come to look at the Norway spruces. They are nice and green, and this one's quite strong, but they do seem a little bit weedy. But these are going to go into stratification. We'll get all these watered up and get them put into the tent. So I'll just come in with the watering, give them all a good thorough water, make sure we get some water coming out the bottom. Just move on a little bit to this one. This will take a while because the mixture's a lot finer, so it takes a lot longer for the moisture to penetrate down and through, but we'll go through all of them and then come back. I know somebody's quite happy at the moment. Liverpool are winning at half time, so I know that's one amongst you as a minimum that's nice and happy at this moment. We'll see what happens in the second half, won't we? So we'll give all these a good water and get them up into the back up into the tent. Really absorbing lots and lots of water. taking a lot of water, which is okay. There's a lot of loose soil in here that needs to absorb the moisture. So I'm going to let that sit for a while, and then I'm going to give it all another watering through, and we'll get them into the tent. So for now, that's it. I'm Scott Winard. You've been watching Let's Do Bonsai. Thank you very much for watching again, and we'll see you again soon.